Welcome back. This is episode 8, Simon and the Word. We're cutting right through. We're at Genesis chapter 17. We're halfway through chapter 17. God has just promised Abraham. He's changed his name from Abram to Abraham and told him that he's going to become the father of many nations. And now we're looking at Abraham's reaction right here to what God has told Abraham. So we're Genesis chapter 17, verse 17. Walk with me. Abraham bowed with his face to the ground and thought, I am almost 100 years old. How can I become a father? And Sarah's 90. How can she have a child? So he started laughing. Then he asked God, why not let Ishmael inherit what you have promised me? But God answered, no, you and Sarah will have a son. His name will be Isaac, and I will make an everlasting promise to him and his descendants. I have heard what you have asked me to do for Ishmael, and so I will also bless him with many descendants. He will be the father of 12 princes, and I will make his family a great nation. But your son Isaac will be born about this time next year, and the promise I am making to you and your family will be for him and his descendants forever. God finished speaking to Abraham and then left. On that same day, Abraham obeyed God by circumcising Ishmael. Abraham was also circumcised, and so were all the other men and boys in his household, including his servants and slaves. He was 99 years old at that time, and his son Ishmael was 13. All right, so Ishmael's 13. That's Abraham's son that he had with the servant, right, who he married, and now with his wife Sarai, who became Sarah. All right, and God has told Abram, no, you're gonna have a child with your wife. Now they're both in their 90s, and God is telling Abraham, look, you're gonna have a child with your wife. Just listen to me, trust me. I'm gonna give you a child, and he's gonna become the father of many nations, just like his other son. But there's a special promise here. There's a special promise that the whole world is going to be blessed through Isaac. And how is that so? That's so because through Isaac is the lineage of Jesus Christ. Okay, and that's the physical lineage, because of course we know Jesus Christ is eternal, from everlasting to everlasting. He left eternity to come here to earth and become a man. All right, so we're in Genesis chapter 18, verse 1. Let's see what's going on here. One hot summer afternoon, Abraham was sitting by the entrance to his tent near the sacred trees of Mamre when the Lord appeared to him. Abraham looked up and saw 3 men standing nearby. He quickly ran to meet them, bowed with his face to the ground, and said, please come to my home where I can serve you. I'll have some water brought so you can wash your feet. Then you can rest under the tree. Let me grab you some food to give you strength before you leave. I would be honored to serve you. Thank you very much, they answered. We accept your offer. Abraham quickly went to his tent and said to Sarah, hurry, get a large sack of flour and make some bread. After saying this, he rushed off to his herd of cattle and picked out one of the best calves, which his servant quickly prepared. He then served his guests some yogurt and milk together with the meat. While they were eating, he stood near them under the trees, and they asked, where is your wife Sarah? She is right there in the tent, Abram answered. One of the guests was the Lord. He said, I'll come back about this time next year, and when I do, Sarah will already have a son. Wow. So 3 men come to visit Abraham. 3 men come to visit Abraham. Abraham prepares a meal for them, a feast, right? And while they're eating, okay, it's revealed to us, right? One of the guests was the Lord himself. So he came in the form of a human being, came down to earth, and he came and spoke with Abraham, and he ate with him. Just imagine how amazing that is. Okay, and we have to believe here that Abraham understands who his guest is here, right? Sarah was behind Abraham, listening at the entrance to the tent. Abraham and Sarah were very old, and Sarah was well past the age for having children. So she laughed and said to herself, now that I am worn out and my husband is old, will I really know such happiness? The Lord asked Abraham, why does Sarah laugh? Does she doubt that she can have a child in her old age? I am the Lord. There is nothing too difficult for me. I'll come back next year at the time I promised, and Sarah will already have a son. Sarah was so frightened that she lied and said, I didn't laugh. Yes, you did, he answered. Don't question the Lord when he's told you something. Don't question it. Don't question it. Just walk in it. Just believe it. Just believe it and question it. You know what I'm saying? Don't question it. God has given some of you something, and I'm not talking to everybody, because some people believe that, I'm gonna have this big old house, or I'm gonna have this mansion or car, or this or that. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay, but there are promises on your life. There are promises on your life that are spoken to you by your fellow brothers and sisters through the Spirit of God. Promises that are spoken on your life by pastors and elders and men and women of God who pray for you and have told you, God has told me this about you. God has told me that about you. Don't worry. Hang on. Hold on. When you hear that, just hold on to it and believe it, because God will speak in many different ways, and he won't just give you one message from one person. He'll give you a message here, and he'll give you the same message here, and then he'll come in a different direction with the exact same message. So you know from 3 different directions, and by many witnesses, a fact is established and testimony is established, right? So God will make known to you what his promises are to you, and he'll do it through many different channels, and he'll give you an understanding of where he wants you to go and what he wants you to do. And when you have that understanding, don't doubt it. Run with it, run with it, run with it. Okay? Because it's amazing what God can do for us. It's just simply amazing. All right, so we're in Genesis chapter 18, verse 16. Let's see what God is talking about. When the 3 men got ready to leave, they looked down towards Sodom, and Abraham walked part of the way with them. The Lord said to himself, I should tell Abraham what I am going to do, since his family will become a great and powerful nation that will be a blessing to all other nations on earth. I have chosen him to teach his family to obey me forever and to do what is right and fair. Then I will give Abraham many descendants, just as I promised. The Lord said, Abraham, I have heard that the people of Sodom and Gomorrah are doing all kinds of evil things. Now I am going down to see for myself if those people really are that bad. If they aren't, I want to know about it. The men turned and started toward Sodom, but the Lord stayed with Abraham, who asked, Lord, when you destroy the people, are you going to destroy those who are good? When you destroy the evil people? Wouldn't you spare the city if there are only 50 good people in it? You surely wouldn't let them be killed when you destroy the evil ones. You are the judge of all the earth, and you do what is right. The Lord replied, if I find 50 good people in Sodom, I will save the city to keep them from being killed. Abraham answered, I am nothing more than the dust of the earth. Please forgive me, Lord, for daring to speak to you like this. But suppose there are only 45 good people in Sodom. Would you still wipe out the whole city? If I find 45 good people, the Lord replied, I wouldn't destroy the city. Suppose there are just 40 good people, Abraham asked. Even for them, the Lord replied, I wouldn't destroy the city. Abraham said, please don't be angry, Lord, if I ask you what you will do if there are only 30 good people in the city. If I find 30, the Lord replied, I still won't destroy it. Then Abraham said, I don't have any right to ask you, Lord, but what would you do if you find only 20? Because of them, I won't destroy the city, was the Lord's answer. Finally, Abraham said, please don't get angry, Lord, if I speak just once more. Suppose you find only 10 good people. For the sake of 10 good people, the Lord told him, I still won't destroy the city. After speaking with Abraham, the Lord left, and Abraham went back home. So God told Abraham that he's getting ready to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because there's all kinds of evil stuff going on there. And Abraham's pleading with God, asking God, is there any way we can stop this from happening? He said, if we find 50 good people, and the Lord agrees all the way down to just 10 people. He said, if you find 10 people in this city, I'm not going to destroy it. So that's where we're at. We're at Genesis chapter 19. Okay, let's see what's going on. I'm going to take a quick sip of this coffee if you guys don't mind. Here we go. Genesis chapter 19, verse 1. Walk with me. That evening, the two angels arrived in Sodom. The two angels, okay? So before there was three, and one of them was the Lord. So the Lord makes a come with two of his companions, right? What an amazing meeting that must have been. Imagine being the host of that meeting with the Lord and two angels there. Imagine what they were talking about, right? Okay, that evening, the two angels arrived in Sodom while Lot was sitting near the city gate. Now, Lot's Abraham's nephew. Okay, he lives near Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? When Lot saw them, he got up, bowed down low, and said, "Gentlemen, I am your servant. Please come to my home. You can wash your feet, spend the night, and be on your way in the morning." They told him, "No, we'll spend the night in the city square." But Lot kept insisting until they finally agreed and went home with him. He baked some bread, cooked a meal, and they ate. Before Lot and his guests could go to bed, every man in Sodom, young and old, came and stood outside his house and started shouting, "Where are your visitors? Send them out so we can have sex with them." Whoa. Yeah, did you hear that? So these two angels come to Sodom, right? They're about to chill out in the city square, which is probably somewhere in the middle of the city, kind of like a city park in the middle of their city, right? And Abraham's nephew comes out and says, "Nah, come to my house. You don't have to sleep outside." And so he brings the angels into his home and bakes them some bread and makes a meal for them. And while they're in there, every boy, young and old, comes out of their house to go and attack the angels in a sexual way. That's how bad this place was. That's how bad it was. It was a very, very evil place. Lot went outside and shut the door behind him. Then he said, "Friends, please don't do such a terrible thing. I have two daughters who have never been married. I'll bring them out and you can do what you want with them. But don't harm these men. They are guests in my home." "Don't get in our way," the crowd answered. "You're an outsider. What right do you have to order us around? We'll do worse things to you than we're going to do to them." The crowd kept arguing with Lot. Finally, they rushed toward the door to break it down, but the two angels in the house reached out and pulled Lot safely inside. Then they struck every one in the crowd blind, and none of them could even find the door. Wow, do you hear that? The two angels said to Lot, "The Lord has heard many terrible things about the people of Sodom, and he has sent us here to destroy the city. Take your family and leave. Take every relative you have in the city, as well as the men your daughters are going to marry." Lot went to the men who were engaged to his daughters and said, "Hurry and get out of here. The Lord is going to destroy the city." But they thought he was joking and they laughed at him. Oh, man. Early the next morning, the two angels tried to make Lot hurry and leave. They said, "Take your wife and your two daughters and get out of here as fast as you can. If you don't, every one of you will be killed when the Lord destroys the city." At first, Lot just stood there, but the Lord wanted to save him. So the angels took Lot, his wife, and his two daughters by the hand and led them out of the city. When they were outside, one of the angels said, "Run for your lives. Don't even look back, and don't stop in the valley. Run to the hills where you will be safe." They had to run. They couldn't be anywhere near that city because God was about to boom. He's about to destroy it. Lot answers, "You have done us a great favor, sir. You have saved our lives, but please don't make us go to the hills. That's too far away. The city will be destroyed forever before we can get there, and we will be killed when it happens. There's a town near here. It's only a small place, but my family and I will be safe if you let us go there." "All right, go there," he answered. "I won't destroy that town. Hurry. Run, I can't do anything until you are safely there." The town was later called Zoar because Lot had said it was small. Zoar. So God is going to destroy the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, and he's getting Lot out of there, right? Lot's dragging his feet. The angels got to get him by the hand and say, "Get out of here." He can't be anywhere near the city. And I think that it's interesting that the angels say, "I can't do anything until you are safely there." That the angels weren't allowed to destroy the city until Lot was safe, but they had to make things happen because there must have been a time limit on when this destruction had to take place, right? So the town was later called Zoar because Lot said it was small. So that's the town where Lot escaped to. He ran from some Sodom and Gomorrah to this little town called Zoar that God promised not to destroy, so that Lot and his family didn't have to run into the wilderness. The sun was coming up as Lot reached the town of Zoar. And the Lord sent burning sulfur down like rain on Sodom and Gomorrah. He destroyed those cities and everyone who lived in them, as well as their land, the trees and grass that grew there. On the way, Lot's wife looked back and she was turned into a block of salt. The angels told him, don't even look back. Don't even look back, because if you even look back, surely you'll die. Right? So on the way, Lot's wife looks back at the city. When God takes you from something, and he says, get out of this place of hell. Get out of this place of destruction. I'm saving you from this destruction. I'm saving you from this life of addiction. I'm saving you from fentanyl. I'm saving you from crystal meth. I'm saving you from alcoholism. I'm saving you from addiction of gambling. I'm saving you from sex addiction. I'm saving you. Don't look back. Run, run, run. When he tells you that, just go with it. Flee, run with it, because he's giving you your freedom, brother. He's giving you your freedom, sister. Don't look back like Lot's wife. Don't look back at that destruction. Don't look back. Don't even remember it. Forget about it. There's nothing there for you. Keep going forward, because God's got something good for you. Something good for you. Keep your eyes on that. Keep your eyes on him, on Jesus Christ. Don't look back to those pipes and those ugly nights. Don't look back to it. Don't even think on it. Think on this. Think on life. Think on light. Think on Christ. Think on glory. Think on strength. Think on victory. And go forward, forward, forward. Don't go backwards. Don't even look backwards. You hear me? You hear me? I know you hear me, because you are meant to hear me. Don't even look back, man. Okay, that same morning, Abraham got up and went to the place where he had stood and spoken with the Lord. He looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah and saw smoke rising from all over the land. It was like a flaming furnace. When God destroyed the cities of the valley where Lot lived, he remembered his promise to Abraham and saved Lot from the terrible destruction. Wow. So, we're just going to finish off this chapter here. We're a little bit past 15 minutes, bro. We're going to finish off this chapter. Lot was afraid to stay on in Zoar, so he took his 2 daughters and moved to a cave in the hill country. One day his older daughter said to his sister, our father is old, and there are no men anywhere for us to marry. Let's get our father drunk. Oh, man, so this is bad. This is bad. All right. So Lot has taken his daughters. Pretty much everything civilized near them has been destroyed. So there's pretty much nothing left but wilderness, right? Of course, there are other places in the world that are inhabited, but in their direct vicinity, everything's been destroyed. In their minds, they think the whole world has come to an end. That's what it really seems like. Of course, that's not the case. The whole world has not come to an end. But it looks to them like the whole world has just been destroyed. Fire has been rained down from heaven. Sodom and Gomorrah have just been blown up. And these are the main cities of the day. And they've just gone to ashes. They have nowhere to go. They're living in a cave in the hills. And the daughters are now, it's just us and dad. Now what are we going to do? Right? So this is one of these ugly things in history that we got to go through it and see what happened and learn from it. Lot was afraid to stay on in Zoar, so he took his 2 daughters and moved to a cave in the hill country. One day his older daughter said to her sister, our father is old and there are no men anywhere for us to marry. Let's get our father drunk, then we can sleep with him and have children. That night they got their father drunk, and the older daughter got in bed with him, but he was too drunk to even know she was there. The next day, the older daughter said to her sister, I slept with my father last night. We'll get him drunk again tonight so you can go to bed with him and we can each have a child. That night, they got their father drunk, and this same time, the younger sister slept with him. But once again, she was too drunk even to know she was there. That's how Lot's 2 daughters had their children. The older daughter named her son Moab, and he is the ancestor of the Moabites. The younger daughter named her son Ben-Ami, and he is the ancestor of the Ammonites.